Morning students, continuation part of the mechanical properties of solids. Last class we have discussed the types of a strains there. Last type of a strain. Let me discuss one more time about the types of a strain here. Right, a strain is nothing but here we have discussed the strain as an elongation. Strain is nothing but the elongation of the body or a material, that is the strain. How we can define the strain here? It is defined as the ratio. Always the strain is in the form of a fractional part. Fractional part. The ratio of change in a configuration to the original configurations. Right. Configurations is nothing but it may be the change in a shape or a size or a volume, a length, anything it may be. So, that word we are mentioned as a configurations or dimensions. Clear? Now, a change in configurations to the original configurations by the ratio change in configuration to the original configuration. To the original configuration is called as strain. Is nothing but a strain is the ratio of change in a configuration to the original configuration of a body when a deforming force is applied on it. A deforming force is acting on a body, there it implies a change. That change may be in the happening of it may be the generalized or it may be the characterized in the form of always in the fractional, that is in the ratio form. So, that is a change in the configurations to the change to the original configuration. This configuration may be in the form of a length, or it may be in the form of a shape, or it may be in the form of volume. Clear? Now, here are types of a strain we have studied there. So, how many types we have studied as a types? 3 types here. There are 3 types of a strain here. Sorry, there are 3 types of strain we have studied. First one we have taken as longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain, and the next one is volume strain, and the next one, third last one is shear strain or tangential strain. Similarly, we have discussed the classifications as in the stress also. How the types of stress are, we have taken there as normal stress. As in the normal stress, they are categorized as subdivision as a longitudinal stress and compressive stress or compressed stress. So, now here also a longitudinal strain comes. Next one to the in the strain, it is tangential stress, that is a shear strain we can call here. Next, third one is hydraulic stress. Now, here we are taking as a volume strain. Okay, let us discuss one by one. That is a longitudinal strain. We have discussed earlierly that the longitudinal strain is comparing with the original formula as what? It is the strain where a change in configurations is nothing but we have mentioned the type here. Type of the strain we have mentioned here, that is longitudinal. Nothing but what? A length describing here, a length of the body is changing. So, how can we define the longitudinal strain? It is defined as the ratio of change in length to the original length of a body when deforming force is applied on it, when deforming force is acting on a body. Such a strain is called as longitudinal strain. I am repeating one more time here. Longitudinal strain is nothing but it is defined as the ratio of change in length to the original length of a body when deforming force is acting. It is called as what? Longitudinal strain. Now, next one is what? Volume strain. Can you define it with respect to the strain definition? It's just a name is replaced there. a configuration which it indicates here as volume. So, how can we define the volume strain here? Volume strain is defined as the ratio of a change in volume to the original volume of a body. Original volume of a body when volume stress is acting on that. No need to say here as a when deforming force is acting. Which stress it is? Already a volume stress. We know volume stress. So, that is why we have to mention there as when a volume stress is acting on a body, there will produce a volume strain. How? Will be a change in volume to the original volume. That is nothing but volume strain. What? Volume strain. Now, come back to the shear strain. How the shear strain can be defined here? Shear strain is nothing but what? Shear or a tangential. Anything we can call here as tangential, anything. So, tangential stress, how we have defined there? Tangential stress. Tangential stress is nothing but what? What you have studied? If a force is applied to a body tangentially, it changes its what? Shape. That is nothing but tangential stress. Now we are studying the tangential strain or shear strain. Shear strain. It's nothing but, now suppose take a cube here, cube. Okay, let us assume this is a cube or a body, right? You all know this is a cube. So, by this cuboid, can we draw a reference line to this one? Look at here. I am making a reference line, that means these extensions will be there. Okay, these references line, can I write this extension as displacement as a delta x? Delta x is nothing but change in displacement. Change in displacement. Now, this is the original length of the body. Now, this is what? Original length of the body. This extension I am making with the reference line, that is delta x. Now, this is what? A formation where here or here we can take. Okay, this is what? Angle describing in the cube. Theta is what? Angle describing in that body or in that cube. So, now what we are discussing here? A shear strain. What is that? Shear strain is nothing but what? It is nothing but an angular displacement. From the diagram, we can easily get to understand the angular displacement, right? Angular displacement is nothing but what? An angle made by this body or the cuboid where a displacement is taking place with these references line, right? That is angular displacement of that body. Clear? Angular displacement to the reference line. What I am making here as a reference line? These lines are called as a referenced line. Okay, these is the angular displacement to the reference line where what happening there? A tangential stress is acting over here. Now, in the earlier classes, we have discussed the tangential stress where a force is applied on that body. What happens there? A change in a shape takes place which represents the tangential stress. For example, here if you take a bottle, water bottle, the cap of the bottle, if you turn there, how we are turning the cap of the bottle? By taking an angle there. So, that is a tangentially. So, it covers a displacement on that cap of the bottle. So, that is the tangential way, tangential stress where makes the angle, that is angular displacement. Now, how can we define the shear strain here? It is the angular displacement to the reference line up to which the tangential stress is acting over there. Tangential stress is acting on that body. So, that is the shear strain. Now, can I write the strain as change in the configuration? Now configuration is what? In the form of what here? Shear, that is in the form of change in displacement to the original displacement. So can I write this as tan theta is nothing but shear strain. Shear is what here? Angle describing here in the cuboid. Tan theta is equals to change in a displacement to the original displacement, where L is what? Original length of the cube. Delta x is the change in the displacement. So for some instance, can I take this tan theta, which is nearly small as theta? For small values, we can consider this tan theta as equal to theta. Okay. Now, what happens? Theta is equal to delta x upon L. This is an expression for shear strain. Though the delta x by L will cancels in here, it is a dimensionless and unitless quantity, because strain itself is a unitless and dimensionless quantity. Cleared? Whereas the stress has Newton per meter square or Pascal is a SI unit. Cleared? Now shear strain is nothing but what? It is the angular displacement to the reference line where the body has what? Tangential stress is acting on it. That is the shear strain. Cleared everyone? This is a shear strain, right? Now these are the types of a strain. So how many types of strains we have discussed? 3 types of strains. First one, a longitudinal strain. Second one is a volume strain. The third one is a shear strain. So these are the types of strain we have discussed. Cleared everyone? So in an examination, the differences between the stress and the strain, if they have asked, you are able to write its definitions and its explanation, a little bit explanation. They want to differentiate from each other. Clear? Now next is elastic limit. Now all of you know the elasticity property, right? Now elasticity means what? A body can have what? It's in a body can regain its original shape or size even after the removal of external force or deforming force from it. So that such bodies we are telling as elastic bodies or perfectly elastic body. Here we are discussing the elastic limit. Elastic limit is nothing but what? I am expressing here as a limit. Limit stands for what? An circumference or a limitations. It's nothing but the maximum deforming force. I am applying the maximum deforming force on this body, up to which this body can bear the property of elasticity. That's nothing but elastic limit. Limit is nothing but what? If we stretch a rubber band, what happens? Up to some extent, the rubber material can withstand the deforming force, can be stretchable. So up to certain point, it will not stretch. That means the strain will not be remain in that rubber. So what happens? Suddenly it breaks. It will break out there. So that is the limit where the maximum deforming force is applying on that body, where what happens? A body can regain or can bear the property of elasticity. So that is called as elastic limit. So this elastic limit is nothing but what? Once again I am repeating here. It is the maximum deforming force up to which a body can bear the property of elasticity. Such materials we are telling as elastic materials. Clear? Now, why I am taking this elastic limit here? Because important law is there in this chapter, that is Hooke's law. Hooke's law. What it states, Hooke's law is nothing but a scientist has a law with respect to stress and strain. Now we have discussed the stress and strain. Clear? So, the stress and strain is completely related to the law. He has made a law which is dependent on the elastic limit. What? An elastic limit. What this law states that? It states that the stress is directly proportional to strain. Stress is directly proportional to strain within the elastic limit. So, a scientist has made a restricted here. He has made a restricted here, that is a compulsion here to a material where a stress is directly proportional to strain. When it happens? Only for the elastic limit. It should be within the elastic limit. The body should be as stress is directly proportional to strain. The condition mentioned as what? Within the elastic limit. Within the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. This condition, if we have forgotten to write here, the law is meaningless. Understood? If within the elastic limit is nothing but what? A body which is under the limitations, which can withhold the maximum stress, which can bear the maximum stress up to certain time where the stress is acting over it, where the property of elasticity can bear over it. So, in that purpose only we are considering this law and stated as a stress is directly proportional to strain. Now, mathematically it can be represented as stress is directly proportional to strain. If you remove the proportionality constant, what happens? Stress upon strain is equals to constant. So, this is nothing but the mathematical representation of the Hooke's law. This constant may be taken as K or E, anything. So, Hooke's law, what it states? Within the elasticity or within the elastic limit of a body, a stress is directly proportional to strain. Clear now? Now next one is a stress and strain curve. We have plotted the graph for stress and strain curve. So, this is an important concept in this chapter, that is for weightage of 3 marks. A curve which is stress strain curve. So, here by plotting a graph of a stress versus a strain here, what it implies is that we have considered a metallic wire. We have taken a metallic wire where the moldations, whatever the observation we have found there, that are represented in the form of graphically. They are shown in the form of graphical representation. So, when a load is applied to that metallic wire, what are the changes we are observed here? They are shown in the form of stress strain curve. Clear? This will be the question based on what? A stress versus a strain. Clear? Now, we have discussed the elastic limit and Hooke's law. They are also one of the important questions, and Hooke's law is also an important question. So, in the Hooke's law we have stated a point there as that nothing but elastic limit. So, what that elastic limit can exist when we have taken a wire, a metallic wire? What are the properties, behaviors we have observed in that body? So, these all things we are studying here in the form of graphically. Now here stress versus strain. Now the stress is in the y-axis and strain is in the x-axis. We have taken the metallic wire, already have known the metallic wire, right. So that metallic wire, what it has to be made here with references to the elastic property, nothing but when we are applying a load on that metallic wire, what are the observation we are observing here? Initial, what happens when we are applying a load here, what we have drawn first, this O is the origin of this graph. Every graph starts with the origin, right. So I am applying a load, I am applying a stress on that metallic wire. What happens? Start in the initially, what happens? I am applying a metallic wire a load. That means I am stretching that wire, I am stretching the metallic wire. That means what? A stress is directly proportional to strain. How much I am applying a stress on that wire, the strain is there, the elongation is there. Clear? Now that represents the graphically as point OA. In the graph, the linear proportionality, the linear line represents the proportionality. Here OA describes the proportionality. Proportionality to what? A stress is directly proportional to strain. Which law it indicates here? Hooke's law indicates. Nothing but within the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. So that is indicating graphically as what? OA. From O to A, the region we are telling as what? Proportional limit. Look at the graph carefully. At the point A, we are telling as what? Proportional limit. Nothing but stress is directly proportional to strain. Linear graph. Clear? Now this is what? Proportional limit. This is the proportional limit. This point A is called out what? Proportional limit. Now I am stretching the wire, metallic wire. Initially now it exists the first point as what? Proportional limit. It exists the proportional limit first. Now what happens? The stress is increasing. I am applying the load continuously on that metallic wire. What it represents? It shows a slight curve here, a slight bend on the graph. What it represents? A to B, what it representing in the graph? It represents the point here. What is that? And it representing the elastic behavior in that metallic wire. What it represents? The stretchiness of the wire indicates the behavior of what? Elasticity. So I am indicating here this OA is stretching in the form of elastic behavior. It shows the behavior as elastically. Next, what happens? It increases slightly at a point B. Now this at a point B or the region of B, we are describing this as yield point. What do you mean by yield point? Yield is nothing but what? In general, the yield is nothing but a formation, transformation, a strength transformation, where the material, here what, which material I am taking? A metallic wire. That material is get transferred, is get deformed there as plastically. What happens? I am stretching the metallic wire continuously by applying the load. It loses the elasticity behavior for some time. It loses what? It elastic behavior for some time. That is shown graphically here as B. At the point what? B, it represents the yield point. So how can you define the yield point here for 1 mark question? Yield point is the point where the material can behave from elastic or some elasticity to plasticity. So it converts the medium or the material to plasticity. So that point we are telling as what? Yield point. Clear? Transformation will get turns into what? Yield point, plasticity point. As you can see from the graph here, the stress is no more here. The stress property on the metallic wire is slightly losing there. You can imagine yourself. I am stretching a metallic wire is nothing but what? Up to some extent it behaves as a elastic property. After some time what happens? It loses its elastic behavior. That means what? The stress is no more here. The stress is no more at the point B. That means yield point will not have the elasticity. It losing its property. The material is showing the plasticity now, not elasticity. So, by the clear points only I am describing the points over here. Look at the points carefully and judge the where the point describes particular material behaviors. Clear now? So, where we are at the point B, it shows the yield point. Why? The material is get turned into elasticity to plasticity deformation. That is why I am written here plastic deformation. What happens? The metallic wire goes on increasing here. There is no stress, only a strain remains. So, the BO, see the BO dash or OO dash. Look at the space here OO dash. I am marking a line here. So, this is an extension or elongation or a strain which is of permanent set. The elongation in the metallic wire is stretched, a 1% of strain here, 1% of permanent set we acquired here. We got how much percentage of strain here? A little bit, that is 1%. For the explanation purpose, we can assume that as 1%. That means a slight increase in the strain, not the stress. Here no more stress is there. A stress is losing its property because of the increase in its strain, plasticity. Now what happens at the point B to C? Again a load increases. What happens? The strain is increasingly heavily on that metallic wire. What happens? To some large extent of the load increased there. It will be increased there. They will no more of the stress remain at the point C, D and E. In the region C to D what happens? Only the plastic deformation is going to happen. Because of the large deformation of plasticity, there is no need to describe the stress property, that is nothing but load, that is a external force. Only there will be a plastic deformation. Plastic deformation is nothing but what? The materials where the body cannot regain its original shape, they will not retrace its path back. So, that is a plastic deformation held in the region where C to D. So, when we coming at the point D, what happens? A strain is increasing means what? From D to E, and at the last point it will be breaked out, it will be fractured. That is nothing but breaking point. Is what? Breaking point or fracture point, any word we can use at the last of this metallic wire. The condition, the behavior, what we have represented here in the graphically. So, what it represents here? A breaking point. Clear? So, what is this breaking point? So, large stress we have acquired on that metallic wire. What happens at the last limit? It will break out. It will be in the fractured in a point. So, that we are telling as what? Breaking stress at a point E, we are telling as breaking stress or tensile stress. It is the ultimate strength where the material can bear the maximum deforming force, right? So, the maximum deforming force we are applying on that material can be withstanded by that metallic wire, which shows the breaking stress here. So, one mark question, a breaking stress or any one of the point on this graph can be asked in the examination. The breaking stress, or it is a tensile stress, or ultimate it is a strength where the body can acquire its behavior, elastic behavior, or the deforming force is acting on that maximally. So, this is the stress strain curve, how the metallic wire is going to behave under the formation of what? Stress and strain. So, this is the curve we are representing for the graphically. This is for 3 marks questions. Clear? Observe the graph carefully and copy down. As per the types of strains, we have the different materials where the flexibility of the materials can be discussed as per the concept of elasticity, right. So, we have the types of strains and the different materials. Just now we have seen from the stress strain curve, that is the end point where the material or the wire can break down. At that point we are telling as what? Breaking point or fracture point. So, for the breaking stress we have different materials and their values. So, before that some different materials are there based on the concept of the strains. So, the types are here, 3 types they are. First one is ductile materials. Now, what are ductile materials? Materials are said to be ductile materials when the materials have the large ratios of plastic deformation will be happens. So, that materials we are telling as ductile materials. Materials where having a large values of plastic deformations. Nothing but what? Plastic deformation means there will be a large extent of limit, elastic limit takes place. The materials will not break easily. So, that materials we are telling as a ductile materials, where a large range of plastic deformation happens. So, large range of elasticity can have the materials, can have the bodies. So, that is why they can easily form the wires and they are the finest example for the ductile materials. So, now example here we can assume as a copper, it may be the copper, silver or gold, anything. So, these are the materials we are considering as a ductile materials. Now, the second one is brittle materials. Brittle materials exactly opposite to these ductile materials. They are nothing but what? Brittle materials are the materials where the small ratios of plastic deformation happens. That means there will be a long range will be happening the elasticity property. There is no long age of the elastic limit. So, the brittle materials have the small value of plastic deformations. They can easily break there only. For example, here example we can assume as a glass or bone or any china dish, a china or a ceramic, anything ceramic, it may be the dishes or glass can easily break where the smaller formations of the plastic deformation will be there. No elastic property will going to exist in the large range in the brittle materials. Now, the third one is elastomers. Now, what are elastomers here? Elastomers are nothing but these are the materials where there is a no longer range of elastic property. It is elastically stretched, but there is a no longer strain of stress will be there. Only a strain property behaves. It is actually an elastically stretched materials. They are the elastically stretched materials, but for some point there will be no range for the stress property. There is no value for the stress. There remains as a strain itself. For example, we can take here as rubber. Rubber is one of the examples for the elastomers. Why? Because when we stretch the rubber elastically, for some extent what happens? It will stretch us, and due to the large load on that rubber, at some point it will break up. The limit of the elasticity will be ends there. So the what happens? It will remain as a strain, only an elongation of a thread it will remains. No more of elasticity will remain in the rubber. That is nothing but the elastomers. Some of other examples means tissues of iota. You can also taken as an example for the elastomers. So clear? Now these are the different materials we have discussed as per the types of the different methods of the strains here. Now the next one is the types of modulus of elasticity will be there. As the modulus of elasticity, types are modulus of elasticity concept. We have 3 types in the modulus of elasticity. So modulus of elasticity means what? In the previous we have studied the Hooke's law, where Hooke's law states that what? Within the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. Now here a modulus of elasticity. Modulus of elasticity is nothing but it is a ratio of a stress to the strain of a body. Is called as modulus of elasticity. Modulus of elasticity can be represented as what? A ratio of a stress to the strain itself. This is called as modulus of elasticity. Here this modulus of elasticity can be classified here as 3 types. Based on the modulus of elasticity, we have 3 types here. First one is Young's modulus. Young's modulus, and it is represented as capital Y. Capital Y. Next one is bulk modulus, and it is expressed as the K. Now third one is modulus of rigidity. Modulus of rigidity is expressed as eta. This notation we are telling as what? Neta. Eta. So this is the first one, Young's modulus, bulk modulus and modulus of rigidity. Now we are moving for the first one, that is Young's modulus. So Young's modulus is nothing but what? These are all the types of what? Based on the concept of modulus of elasticity. Modulus of elasticity, we have classified this. Now the first one is Young's modulus. Okay, this is expressed in as Y. So Young's modulus is nothing but it is defined as the ratio of normal stress or longitudinal stress. Anything we can take here. It's the ratio of normal stress to the longitudinal strain. So it can be written as what? Y is equal to, capital Y refers to what? Young's modulus, ratio of normal stress to the longitudinal strain. So we can also assume this normal stress as a longitudinal stress. Clear? Now from the expressionally manner, how we can derive this? So suppose I take a length of a wire here, assume here this is a base. So I am taking a wire of a length, it is L. This is the length of the wire assumed as L. Now to this wire only I am applying some load, anything load I am applying here. So what happens? The load is applied, so there will be a change in displacement or distance. That elongation we are telling as what? Delta L. What delta refers to here? Change in the length L, delta L. So this force I am applying in the downward due to the acceleration due to gravity. So the force is taken as F. So what is the equation where the force is exerted downward to the earth? So obviously it will be m into g. M is this mass of the body, g is what? Acceleration due to gravity. So this is a force exerted on the wire where the load is applied. So now what happens? Of Young's modulus, normal stress. What is the stress means what? How can we define the stress here? It is nothing but the restoring force per unit area. So can we write this as F by A as a stress, a normal stress. Now divided by longitudinal strain. So what is the expression for longitudinal strain? Delta L by L, that is nothing but change in length to the original length. So change in length is what? We are describing in the diagram as what? Delta L refers to the change in length, where L is the original length of the wire. So on the cross multiplication and divisions, what it happens? FL divided by A into delta L. So Y indicates what? FL divided by A into delta L. FL divided by A delta L, or you can also represent here, listen, FL divided by A delta L, where F is what? Force applied on this wire or in this wire where the load is connected. And L is the length of the wire. Delta L is the change in length. A is what? Area of the wire. We are taking that area of the wire as what? Pi r square. So what will be happen? Which force I am exerting here? A downward force. So shall we write for the F as m into g? F is equal to m into g, L divided by A as what? Pi r square. We have the equation for the area of the wire. Pi r square into delta into L. So this is the expression for what? Young's modulus. What we have the expression here? Y is equals to m into GL divided by pi r square into delta L. This is the, what is this? This is the Young's modulus. Young's modulus derivation or a simple calculation you can consider. So we are taking a metallic wire or a wire which is having the original length as L. So suppose we stretch that wire by putting a load on that. So it creates a displacement, change in the length creates. So that we are taking as a delta L. So the force is in downward due to acceleration force. The gravity will increases there. The gravity due to downwards, so it will obviously increases where the applied load is connected. So we are taking as F is equal to m into g. So substitute all the values in the given equations. So the ratio will get as what? F is y is equal to mgl by pi r square into delta L. Now next one is bulk modulus. So next one is what? Bulk modulus. Bulk means what? The name indicates what? The bulk is what? A halvus. A bulk is nothing but what? Bulk means nothing which is hollow in the weight. When the bulk is considered, if we consider the volume of that body. So now here we can assume the next type, that is bulk modulus, and it is expressed in the which alphabet it is? K. So, bulk modulus is defined as again the ratio of that material of the body, where the ratio comes as normal stress to the volume strain, because we are considering here what? Volume. If the volume of any material is observed, then only we can assume that it is a hollow or it is filled one. Okay. So, bulk refers to the volume always. Clear? Hydraulic also refers to the volume. Clear? Now, bulk modulus is nothing but ratio of K is equals to normal stress to the volume strain or volumetric strain, anything. Normal stress to the volumetric strain. Again, can we write this normal stress as F by A? Right. Now, volume strain is nothing but, in the last earlier discussion, we have said the types of strain. There the second type is of what? Volume strain. It's nothing but what? Change in volume to the original volume comes. Correct? This volume strain is nothing but what? A change in say normal stress is nothing but what? F by A. Clear? Now, volume strain is nothing but change in volume to the original volume. This change in volume to the original volume, here a change can be referred with the what? Negative sign. Why I am taking here negative sign means that negative indicates the decreases in volume. In the types of strain we have discussed. Clear? If we take a bucket of water and if we are inserted a air filled balloon, the force in the water will exert an equal and opposite force on the surface of the body. Surface of the body means surface on that balloon. So, what happens? Immediately the volume present in that body will be decreases. That decreases indicates here negative sign. Clear? So, these two formulas we have to substitute in the main original formula. So, what happens here? Normal stress is nothing but F by A. Volume stress strain is nothing but minus delta V by V. So, doing the calculation, what happens here? What will be the solutions? So, F divided by A into minus V by delta V. Can we make this for transformation like denominators and numerators as F by A into V by delta V. So, F by A is nothing but force per unit area, is also nothing but pressure. Pressure exerted by that liquid on that body also we can consider. So, F by A is nothing but what? This is pressure P. So, that is nothing but pressure here. So, substitute as a P, negative sign as it is. Okay, P V divided by delta V, which is nothing but what? K. So, this is the bulk modulus expression. This is what? A bulk modulus expression where K is equals to what happens? Minus PV divided by delta V, where P is what here? A pressure. We are just replaced this force per unit area as pressure, volume and change in volume. This is the bulk modulus expression with explanation. Clear? Now, next type is modulus of rigidity. Third type is, so the third one is modulus of rigidity. Third one, write down modulus of rigidity. It is expressed as what? Eta. Clear? So, how can we define the modulus of rigidity here? It is a ratio of shearing stress or tangential stress, anything we can take. Shearing stress to the shearing strain, easy to express it, right? So it is a ratio of shearing stress to the shearing strain or shear strain, anything, right? Again the shearing stress is nothing but what? F by A, right? Shearing stress is what? Same thing, tangential stress only, that is F by A. But shear strain is what? Recall your last class, that is a shear strain. I have written there as a theta. Theta we are considering as a shear strain, where we can take an as delta x upon L. Strain is there. So strain is nothing but what? Change in length or displacement I am taking there from the cuboid, that is an angle created there. So change in length to the original length. Substitute these two values in the formula. What happens? Eta is equals to F by A divided by delta x upon L. So mathematically what it represents here? Look at here, eta is equals to, or else take it here, eta is equals to F divided by A into L divided by delta x, or else write it here only directly, that is F by A. This whole thing is indicated by what? F by A is equal divided by theta, or we can consider this as, in shortly, no need to elongate it, F by A, this is completely as what? Theta, that is a shearing strain. Now finally eta is equal to what happens? F divided by A into theta. This is the expression for modulus of rigidity. So these three concepts are very important as per the modulus of elasticity concern. The first one is Young's modulus, second one is bulk modulus, and third one is modulus of rigidity. Clear?